Hi, I'm Catherine, and I'm here in the CCDP home studio with postdoctoral researcher Andreas Hirblinger. Andreas, thank you for taking the time to be here.
Sure.
So, shall we jump right in? Maybe you
Absolutely.
can start by telling us a bit about yourself and your current research projects.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I've been at the CCDP for almost 2 years, working more recently now on various aspects of using technology in peace building and peacemaking, peace mediation. So I had last year I had a project on digital inclusion, which looked at how one can enhance participation in peace processes through the use of new technologies or digital technologies. For instance, how one can use tech to increase the legitimacy of peace processes or empower marginalized groups or protect vulnerable groups. Then I have a very kind of a small side project currently on artificial intelligence and machine learning and how it could potentially be used for conflict analysis to support peace mediation. And here we are particularly interested in understanding how one can use machine learning outputs kind of in a participatory way and also in ways that are kind of aligned with kind of the norms, standards, and practices of peace mediation. And that's been kind of a seed funding project, and we'll see whether we can continue that work in the next couple of years. And then I have a Spark grant from the SNF, which is on subjunctive technologies. Those are technologies that kind of help you deal with uncertainty in peace processes through ways other than kind of trying to get a better sense of the world as is. And that is very ambiguous to me, still what this research is about. So I'm looking forward to hopefully publishing this next year. So then I can tell you more about what it was really about.
That's great. We'll be looking out for that. And I know recently you had moderated a session during Geneva Peace Week, and it would be really great to find out what the session was about. If you could tell us maybe some of the key takeaways as well.
Sure. So that session was organized together with the Cyber Mediation Network, which is a kind of a network of different organizations. The CCDP is part of it. That is interested in the use of kind of digital technologies in mediation. And the session was on trust and how one can build kind of trust in cyber mediation or in technology that's used in peace mediation. And obviously it's quite interesting because I think in many other parts of our lives, we are kind of mistrusting technologies, and that's kind of the standard way of approaching a discussion about social media, for instance. We're really not, we're more concerned about what kind of evil it does to us rather than what good it can do. And I think the discourse in peace mediation is a bit different, where, also because of COVID, but also because of other developments, people are using technology more. And the idea really is how you can kind of employ it more in a way that it really enables meaningful dialogue and that people really, really are and feel safe while using technology. And so the discussion really kind of focused to some degree on, how you can design tech in ways that, tech can be trusted more. For instance, what can encryption standards do? But then there were also questions about, kind of outsourcing trust to technology in parts of peace processes. For instance, can you use blockchain to make people stick to agreements? But what I found quite interesting as well is that trust really is something that seems to kind of evolve from the context in which kind of the mediation takes place. So very often past experiences, kind of histories, relationships between the various people and stakeholders that are involved in the mediation really matter to a big extent, and that also determines to what degree people, for instance, are able to connect online. So, and I found that quite interesting because it really shows you how, also if you do research on technology, you can't really just have a focus on the device or the tool itself, but you kind of need to kind of consider the broader kind of social, the social entanglements in which these technologies sit. And that's certainly something I'll try to do in the future.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting because it's issues that are here and now, and that there's so much scope in the future as well for. It's quite an unknown area maybe, and it will be really interesting to hear what your findings are as you progress. And I think on that note, it'd be great if you could tell us, like, what do you see for your project in the future, or maybe what are some of the plans for the future? That'd be great if you could share some of that.
Yeah, happy to share a few details on this. So after the first smaller projects that I had this year and last, now I was lucky to get a 4-year Ambizione grant, where I can explore kind of digital peace building more kind of thoroughly from various points of view and various dimensions. So and I'm using the idea of kind of Apple mediation, which was actually kind of coined in the study of kind of public health and how patients look for information about their diseases or their illness online, and how doctors play kind of a less prominent role in this process. And I thought, okay, maybe something similar happens actually in peace building, because many of the digital technologies that are out there and social media as well really empower people to come up with their own understandings of conflict, and some of the many of the discourses on conflict that are running kind of in society run quite independently from peace building, the kind of the conventional peace building organization. So the idea really is to understand how these kind of peer-to-peer networks that involve humans but also machines really kind of mediate peace building today. And I'm interested to understand, for instance, how our understanding of kind of the causes of conflict, but also options for resolution, really kind of change through the use of technology. I'm also trying to understand how the use of tech really enables peace building organizations to achieve their objectives, what difference it really makes. And then obviously there's a big question around what kind of peace really emerges when things go online more and more. Is this a virtual peace in the sense that there's kind of a disconnect between kind of the online discourse and online practice and kind of the more tangible realities of people in people's homes, for instance, or is there actually is there a way that kind of this kind of digital peace building actually really shapes the lives of those who use it? So that's it in a nutshell. And obviously it's a 4-year project, so we'll have to do another interview in 2 years or in 3. Then I can
definitely. I think even in a shorter time, the world is changing very quickly, and it sounds so interesting to hear about your research. And I think it'll be definitely good to keep the conversation going. I think if people have questions, or if people want to follow up with your research, where's the best place for them to follow what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So I'm always happy to get an email and have also individual conversations. But so apart from the CCDP profile that I have, that also summarizes some of the research that I've done so far, there is digitalpeacemaking.com, which has an overview of kind of the use cases for digital inclusion, which we developed last year, and also kind of a summary of the resources that were produced in the project. And then there is mediatingmachines.com, which gives you an overview of the AI project that we've been running this year.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you for sharing that.
Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter.
Don't forget, follow Andreas on Twitter. He is very active on Twitter, and you will be able to to stay up to date with all the latest that he's working on. So thank you, Andreas. And I guess we'll watch this space. We'll keep on exploring what you're doing, and all the best.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.